NVIDIA special this morning. Bad news, doom and gloom all over the stock. I created a thumbnail this morning which says bad news for China. And of course, the trolls and the bots and the scammers will go, oh, Martyn Lucas, clickbait, you're better. Someone said to me the other day, you're better than that. Meet Kevin does stuff like that. Listen, folks, I said it's bad news because it is bad news. However, it's also good news. If you read past the thumbnail and open the comic book and actually read it as a book rather than the opening statement. So let's get into it. By now, we've already lost the trolls because they only come in for the first 10 seconds. And now we can move on to the intellectual investor. Shall we talk about it? NVIDIA. I've got Tom Lee on the phone. I've got CNBC live link up. I've also got some news on NVIDIA. Shall I share it with you? Is it doom and gloom for NVIDIA? Kind of. Is it bad news? Definitely. Is it going to be good at the end? Well, I could put the spoiler and say the video ends well, but that would spoil it, wouldn't it? I mean, who writes a book? Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson. Did they tell you the conclusion at the beginning? No. Is that clickbait? Of course it is. They want you to watch the whole film, not tell you that the king comes back and everyone's fine in Middle Earth. What's the point of that? So I shall drag it out for 20 minutes. No, I won't. I'll get straight into it. I've got lots to do today. Very, very busy. So click subscribe and ring the bell. Tap the like button if you like real news, honest news. That ranks #1 on YouTube and stuff like that. Shall we get to it? Right. This is the news, and we'll hear from Tom Lee as well. NVIDIA down today. Presents opportunity. Definitely. Could it go lower? Absolutely. Want to know how low it can go? Join Sensei every Sunday, our technical analyst who will give you the buy zone, sell zones. Remember, he told you it could go as low as $100, and he's right. It can. Doesn't mean you should go the end of the world's coming, though. Why is it down today? Well, the overall market is down, but NVIDIA is pulling it down. This is the news, and then we'll hear from Tom Lee. NVIDIA slips as China, hence the thumbnail with China, opens probe on anti-monopoly concerns, hence the word bad news. Clickbait? You decide. Bad news, China, NVIDIA, it's all in there if you'd bother to get 3 minutes into the video. Trolls can't be bothered. That's too hard work. They ain't got time for that. They got time to throw money up in the air, but they ain't got time to read the news. NVIDIA shares slipped 2% in pre-market trading on Monday as China's antitrust agency opened a probe into the Jensen-Huang-led company on concerns it may have breached monopoly laws. Let's remember one thing. How funny is that coming from China about antitrust? I'm not going to say anything. I've got lots of Chinese friends, but the Chinese economy is a little bit more than manipulated by the government. Let's be honest. Let's tell the truth, okay? They don't like it because it's taken over their systems and they don't like this great American business. Sorry, but it's just the way it is. Deal with it. Does it really bother? Well, we'll come on to that in a minute. The State Administration for Market Regulation has opened the probe. We're being probed now by the Chinese, according to China Central Television. The news was first reported domestically by Bloomberg. NVIDIA has tweaked its existing artificial intelligence accelerators for sale in China to comply with existing US export control laws. NVIDIA said on its most recent earnings call that it expects China to remain a very competitive environment, notably in the data center market. NVIDIA did not immediately respond to a request to comment from Seeking Alpha. Okay. Are we worried about this? No, we're not. This is what China do, and they do it very, very well. However, like the carry trade, like Donald Trump saying the world would end in 48 hours, like Iran invading Syria, all of it gave me opportunity to buy more. Over the last few months, I've been paying down my margin, paying down my margin. I like NVIDIA going down because it's 6.6% thereabouts of my S&P 500, about 13, 14 grand, something like that in NVIDIA currently. I like it going down. I'm not buying the individual stock. I buy it through the S&P. And when people say to me, you don't actually own it, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because when I buy VU, they put that amount of money in NVIDIA. I'm absolutely buying it. So I'm looking for a lower price, though. 100 is completely doable. Let's remind ourselves, before we go to Tom Lee, on the valuation of NVIDIA. It's very, very nice for such a high growth stock. Let me share with you. We're showing strong buys and holds. No sells here. That doesn't mean to say you can't sell it. People often say, the analysis is saying hold and buy, so I'm not selling. Of course you'd trim at the top. If you trimmed up the top, like we said, you'd have bought back more now, wouldn't you? You'd have more of it. Unless you've already got as much as you ever want, then hold it forever if you want. But anyway, valuation D minus, up from F. The valuation is improving. The growth is off the scale. A plus, profitability, A plus, momentum, A minus, slightly down from A because of all this, but revisions all B plus, okay? Let's remind ourselves of the forward PE. Before I show you the forward PE, I probably should remind you of the current PE. If we scroll down, the valuation is, let's have a look here, 56 times earnings. Sorry, there it is. 56 times earnings. Bloody hell, that's expensive. Hang on a minute. Wait for the highlight. The forward-going PE for the growth of the company, where we expect to be, is 48 times earnings. It's actually good value for a high growth stock even now. This presents opportunity, even more so in fact now. So we like it. We like it here. This is a good opportunity. But as you all know, I have made the prediction before Tom Lee that my portfolio, the S&P, would 3x by the end of the decade. He then about a month later said the same thing, by the way. You can check my video, so you'll see that. So Tom Lee said we will 3x. We got another 5 to 10% and we've done about 5 of that already in the market this year. Santa Rally, it's on, but a little bit of tightness because we're going to go into a rate cut next week. I'll cover it live on the show. Join me for that. But next year, the rates are going to slow down. We're going to miss months. We're going to go no rate cut this month, no rate cut this month, maybe a quarter the next month. It's going to be slow, and I like that. Steady control, working the system properly. So we do have a reaction from Tom Lee talking about that. So I'm going to bring this to you about the state of the economy. And NVIDIA really is a benchmark and a barometer for the economy. So I'm going to bring Tom Lee on the show now, and let's see what you make of this. But I actually think we're very, very bullish. We're bullish on NVIDIA. I'm bullish on the market, state of the economy, and we're all good. That was me, by the way. I just muted myself. Let's go over now to see what Tom Lee has to say about NVIDIA and the general position of the markets. Let's run this. QVT.
Rallying to 6,300 by year end, but says we could be entering what he's calling a zone of hesitation in the next couple of weeks. Joining us now, Tom Lee, Fundstrat Capital Chief Investment Officer and a CNBC contributor. It's good to see you, Tom. I want to talk to you about the bonds 10-year at some point, but you see 4 reasons why you still expect the S&P to continue to rally.
I agree 100%. We've got another 5-10%, but another 5% left. We've already done the 5%. But this is why I started buying Coca-Cola, because next year my Coca-Cola, which is oversold, is going to outperform the S&P. I will be able to sell it. I'll be able to take a profit and then buy. And that's only on my Roth, by the way. As you know, I only own the S&P on my main account. I'll be trading that out. My 19th trade, my 19 win, and I'll be buying back the S&P as it cools down and as the margin starts to get reduced.
In December and maybe to 6,300 by year end. What are the 4 reasons?
Well, one is seasonality. December historically is a strong month, but when you're up more than 10% in the first half and it's an election year, December's been up 100% of the time.
Correct.
The second is yields have moved down to pre-election levels. You know, the 10-year's at 4.1. That's good for multiple expansion. The third is, I think it's been surprising, but sentiment's actually turned negative the last 2 weeks, even as the markets rallied. To me, that's a contrarian bullish signal. And then finally, we still have those 2 puts, the Trump put and the Fed put. And I think that means you still want to buy any of these dips.
What can Trump do to make sure the market keeps going up?
Well, I think we've seen it with how he's made cabinet proposals or not.
Let me just answer this comment. Ramesses said, Lucas, it's Martyn, by the way, but I understand you're talking to me. Wednesday, you said the same. NVIDIA, I think that's what you mean, turned down and go up 4%. I'm glad I didn't take profit. We'll see today, but NVIDIA is going to be up to 170 by the end of this year. I have said $200 is my target, absolutely, but not taking profits to buy back more. I don't understand the sense of that, and that's how you acquire more. I think you should always trim your position. I traded the S&P on my Roth IRA in December. I did 19 trades, 19 wins, and I've now gone from $5,000 to $135,000. You got to trade. You got to take profits. You can't just let it sit there forever. You need to just adjust your positions.
Nominations that he's very pro-business, and I think, as many have said, Trump is very focused on the stock market. So I think communication is still a strategy, and it's a reminder that animal spirits could come back.
I don't know if you watch the way the financial, say this tactfully, I don't know if you watch the way the financial media industry covers tariffs. I mean, how...
This has been a real talking point recently about the tariff situations, that it's going to send the US into spiraling upwardly inflation. I don't think Donald Trump's really thought that through. If you add 25% on day one, everything goes up by 25%, inflation goes absolutely through the roof. And when you say, well, just buy American, try and buy an American technical gadget. You can't buy any iPhone that's made in America. You can't buy any fridge, freezer, microwave, TV. How's that going to work then? Anyway, we shall see.
How can you call him pro-business, according to these
Absolutely.
people, when he's pro-tariffs? Because you would just think, if you've watched the coverage of tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a reminder that it's good to carry a big stick, and I think tariffs have proven to be a good negotiating tool. I think we've seen some proactive actions by other countries, and in general, I don't think the new White House wants to pursue any policies that would hurt corporate profits. So I think ultimately, whatever is accomplished is going to be pro-business.
Yes, it sounds like Donald Trump is waving a big stick, but actually not going to use it. That's what I predict, because there's one thing he's a businessman. Not a successful businessman. People say he's a great successful businessman. A businessman that has gone bankrupt at least 5 times. Isn't that good? I'm not impressed. If you'd said you'd gone bankrupt once, I went bankrupt once on purpose, and learn from it and never do it again, you can celebrate yourself. But when you've gone bankrupt at least 5 times, a lot more, but that's the ones that I've covered. I'm not so sure that makes you the best businessman in the world, to be honest with you. But anyway, we shall see.
Interesting. All right. I hope everybody's listening. At least that's one man's opinion. Whenever we talk about like the 10-year, it's always it'd be good this way, but it would be bad this way. If it is falling, which is good for multiple expanding, why isn't that indicating that maybe the economy isn't as strong as we thought, and that maybe corporate profits won't hold up their end of the multiple expansion on one hand, but sometimes that's combined with a slowing in profit growth?
If you just tuned in, this is an NVIDIA special. We just covered the NVIDIA Chinese news, but we also, as an investor, need to understand the broader market, which is why we're including this in the NVIDIA story. And as we talk, NVIDIA is going back up. This has presented a great opportunity for those today to buy a dip. But just remember, it can go as low as 100, and Sensei will show you the chart on Sunday. Let's carry on and see what Tom says next.
It is a possibility, and it's always hard to tell what the bond market is telling us. But when I look at the next 6 to 12 months, and we know the Fed wants to reduce the cost of capital for homeowners in mortgages and for small business owners, having the 10-year stay at these levels or even fall is actually an easing of financial conditions. So to me, that's a good sign.
So there's a bit of information from Tom Lee about the general markets. NVIDIA, like we've reported this morning, has gone down on this news of China. This reminds me of the carry trade, reminds me of Donald Trump saying about Iran war, end of the world coming. These are opportunities to buy more. However, I'm not buying at these levels. I'm already in. I bought to NVIDIA through the S&P when it was around the $70 mark. So I don't need to chase this. I'm always making profit. I'm not going to be chasing a small dip. It is a dip if you are trading as an individual stockholder. and you want to buy a bit of NVIDIA today to add to your position, I'm just doing it for the S&P. So don't just rush all in. But I like NVIDIA within the next 8 months, because I said 12 months target about, 4 months ago. It's a $200 stock. I do believe in that, and that's not changed. I still believe in the S&P 3Xing by the end of the decade. Nothing's changed. Nothing's ever changed. My policies and principles have remained the same since I started. NVIDIA, great, but this presents opportunity today. But don't think that you should suddenly go all in. If you want to go all in, then you want to wait for a bigger dip, and a bigger dip could come. But I am still very bullish on this stock. So there you go. NVIDIA information. Leave me your thoughts and comments below. Click above my head for all the links down below in the description. Over here, I'll put the NVIDIA playlist. And down here, I shall put our event last night, which was our XRP 60 minutes broadcast. We had the biggest viewing audience in the world, with 200,000 views over the last 24 hours on XRP, and we smashed through 50,000 subscribers last night, which was incredible. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.